the voice of Edith Piaf. Like she says in that song, she regretted rien, nothing. Welcome to stage. I'm Patti LuPone, and I'm proud to introduce a presentation from the Arts and Entertainment Network about one of the world's greatest legends. She was a lady who died for love each time she opened her mouth to sing. In America, while Judy Garland dreamed about somewhere over the rainbow, across the Atlantic, another little girl was capturing the hearts of France. But Edith Piaf didn't sing about rainbows. She sang about the seamy side of life, in a voice as raw as the gutter. She was born literally in the street, and her songs were full of the broken heart, the betrayal, and the resilience of a hard-knock life. The strong language in tonight's performance is a reflection of this. Piaf became a heroic symbol of France, a modern-day Joan of Arc who rose from the people, a warrior who battled life with her heart on her sleeve. The spotlight was her confessional, and applause the absolution that sustained her until illness, drugs, and alcohol beat her back. Like Judy Garland, she died at 47 years of age. In a moment, we will bring you Act One of Piaf, starring the incredible, versatile Jane Lapotaire, repeating her Tony Award-winning performance as France's immortal songbird here on the Arts and Entertainment Network. Christmas time, 1916. France was at war when Edith Giovanna Gassion was delivered on a policeman's cloak in the middle of a Paris sidewalk. A heroic birth to celebrate a heroic death. She was named in honor of the English nurse Edith Cavell, killed a few days earlier by German bullets. Piaf's childhood reads like a parody of Charles Dickens. Soon after birth, her mother left her father, and Edith was sent to the countryside to live in her grandmother's brothel. One spring morning, baby Edith woke up blind. Then a miracle happened. When she was 7, the ladies of the house took her on a pilgrimage of prayer to St. Teresa. A week later, Edith was discovered picking out a tune on the player piano, watching her fingers. The town priest decided that a brothel was no place to raise a seeing child. So Edith went back to Paris to live with her father, the human pretzel. Louis Gassion was a street acrobat. He spread his carpet on the pavement and walked on his hands. Edith was in charge of the monkey passing the hat and the little girl without a mama routine. It was a surefire way of getting girls for her father. At 15, Piaf left her father and her dozens of mamas to be her own boss. She sang on street corners and passed her beret. A nightclub owner, Louis Leplay, gave her an astonishing 10-franc note and christened her Piaf, which is slang for sparrow. To the chic audience at her premiere, Piaf looked like her name, a tiny gutter bird. And her voice? Well, it was clearly a throat that had never tasted champagne. And now, straight from Broadway, here is Act One of the Tony Award winner Piaf, starring Jane Lapotaire in the title role, with Zoe Wanamaker as her street buddy, Twan. There are more than 250,000 words in the beautiful French language. A critic once joked that Edith Piaf knew only 150. When you string some of them together, they tell her story better than anything else. Noir, bleu, garçon, caress, cry, despair, death, drunk, fate, goodbye, happy, heart, light, lost, lover, man, over. Join us after this for the conclusion of Act One. Paris is occupied and the resistance goes underground. Piaf joins the effort with her music and her street smarts. A good hard struggle always brought out the greatness in her. Piaf with Jane Lapotaire. After World War II, Piaf became a French national treasure, the great Piaf. She symbolized France to the French and France to the world. Her conquest of America wasn't easy at first. The Americans expected a sex pot full of ooh la la. They came for glamour. But what they got was a 4-foot, 10-inch matchstick in a black dress, singing like she was on fire. She arrived in America in 1947 with a group of young men called Les Compagnons de la Chanson. These handsome men were the latest in a long string of her discoveries. Piaf fell in and out of love, each affair providing new inspiration, new hurt. Always she was determined to make her lover a great singer. She called it her factory period. She helped Yves Montand to his first great triumph in Paris. But true to the words in her songs, fate, goodbye, lost, over. Her love life was a roller coaster. We'll rejoin the triumph and tragedy of Edith Piaf in a moment. Let's go back now to those years just after the Second World War. It's 1947, and Edith Piaf has just come face to face with her first New York audience. Luckily, her friend Marlene Dietrich was there to comfort her. Jane Lapotaire is Piaf. The extraordinary actress you're watching is Jane Lapotaire. Howard Davies, her director in Piaf, called her the finest actress of her generation in England. She's a chameleon lady from the gutter in Piaf to the footlights of the Royal Shakespeare Company doing Shaw, Chekhov, and the Bard. Just in case you think fire and brimstone are her only specialties, take a look at this. Here she is as Elizabeth Barrett Browning in the Arts and Entertainment presentation of the Barretts of Wimpole Street.
I have no beauty, no health, and I'm no longer young.
I love you.
I should have refused to see you again after our first meeting. I loved you then, though I would have denied it, even to myself.
How's that for a change of pace? We'll be back shortly for the conclusion of Piaf. In her final years, Piaf would collapse on stage and then try for a comeback. The press called them suicide tours, and the cameras were poised, ready to catch the swan song. Each appearance was intended to reassure her public she was still alive. We return now with the versatile Jane Lapotaire in the conclusion of Piaf. Piaf managed to end her life with a morsel of the happy ending that always escaped her. Almost a year to the day before her death, the 4-foot 10-inch sparrow married a 6-foot 7-inch Greek boy 20 years her junior. She gave him a new last name, Sarapo, which is Greek for I love you. This final brief amour ended when Piaf died on October 11th, 1963. Roman Catholic authorities forbade a mass, but Paris threw itself into black mourning. That same day, her devastated friend Jean Cocteau, the poet, declared she had genius. She was inimitable. It was she who beheld lovers folded in each other's arms, who still knew how to love, to suffer, and to die. How was this tiny person able to bring from her heart the great sad songs of the night? And when she sang, it was more than a voice. It was like an April nightingale. A half hour later, stretched out on his couch, Cocteau suddenly said, "The boat is going down." And with those words, he closed his eyes and joined Piaf in death. Apparently, Paris without Piaf was unendurable. Cocteau called her a nightingale. France called her Little Sparrow. In America, she still lives in the gilded cage of memory. We call her simply Piaf. Next week's stage has another special treat in store for you. Just watch. This is Patti LuPone. Thank you for joining me this week on stage.